What's up, beautiful people? I'm Nathaniel Pearl.
And I'm Sammy Sheva.
And welcome to Curious Chimps Podcast, a show where we explore the infinite complexities of the human experience.
We do not endorse anything illegal, so please consult doctors, do your research, and for the love of all that is holy, be safe. All right, let's talk about drugs.
Curious Chimps.
Okay, yeah, what's up? Neil.
What's up, man?
What's up, brother?
What's up?
You good?
Yeah, man.
How long you guys known each other? I didn't even know you guys are chums.
When are we talking?
Pretty much since I started at H2O.
Yeah, that was what, 2014?
Yeah, I started 2012.
Okay.
So maybe you were there, but then we were not like necessarily talking or
2012,
anything.
really?
Yeah, man. It's
Okay.
been 8 years, a bit more.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Okay.
As the time flies
Yeah.
when we're having fun, kicking people.
Yeah.
So just for the listeners, Neil's a kickboxing, you're local champion, right?
Yeah, amateur champion in Quebec.
Okay.
I won the Fight Quest title 3 times and the MFL title twice.
Nice.
Yeah, so I have five belts.
5 belts. Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah. Damn.
Jesus.
Undefeated. So what's your total record?
Man, I'm not sure because I have so many. I think I have around maybe now 25 fights.
Okay.
But there are a lot in different. Like I have a few Muay Thai fights. That's what I started with. But I don't have a good record in Muay Thai. I think I'm like 1-4.
Okay.
So 1 win and 4 losses. Even though I never got beat up.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
But I remember those were tight fights. They weren't like
Yeah.
one-sided.
From all my 25 fights, I never got beat up or I never got hurt, really. It was all my losses are like close fights. But yeah, Muay Thai, like I wasn't training for the clinch, when they grab your neck and then they throw some knees. That's what they love to do in Muay Thai, but that was never my thing and I never really trained it. So yeah, I have 4 losses in Muay Thai, but then I went to boxing. I'm undefeated in boxing, 5-0.
Nice.
Kickboxing, now I'm like 9-2.
Okay.
And I have a few exhibition fights as well.
Nice.
So no decision, but just like a real fight. Just there's no winner or loser.
Yeah,
Yep.
because that was because of some laws, right? In Quebec, there was the reason they had exhibition fights, or
Yeah, for a while it was because of that. It was there were no real shows anymore, so all they could do was exhibition fights because they weren't sanctioned, so they could go like under the law or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's what we only could do. But it's just like a real fight. Like you still try to knock the other guy out, and you still gain the same experience from it.
but you both get your hands raised at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
No,
It-
for
they-
me, even when I win,
Yeah.
I don't make a big deal out of it. If
Yeah.
I lose, like no big deal. It's the experience of the fight is the same.
I find people who make a big deal out of winning or losing don't stay in it for long.
Yeah,
You're the journey's in your mind. You're just going.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
That's
true,
the
eh?
mentality you have anyway, right?
yeah.
I'm sure it matters. It's like stats, like you're looking at yourself. It's like a sport, so you want to make sure you're good, but you're not like holding your breath trying to.
No.
Like a loss is a lesson and a win is a victory. But
Yeah.
Maybe you even learn less when you win. I don't
Yo,
know.
absolutely, man. My last fight.
It's true, man.
Yeah, my last fight. Well, the first time I won the MFL belt in kickboxing, like I knocked. I stopped the guy in the first round after like just not even a minute or something like that. And after the fight, like you can even see on the pictures, I'm like, I look like I'm mad or something. And people are asking me, they were like, "Oh man, you look like mad," or like you didn't look happy. You like I wasn't smiling or anything, but I remember thinking like right after they stopped it, I was a bit disappointed of how fast it went. I'm like, man, like I trained super hard, everything,
Yeah.
and then it ended like that. Like I didn't have the time to show really.
What you
Like,
can do,
yeah,
what
exactly.
You, what you trained for. Yeah, I
So
never
for
would have
sure.
thought of that. That's so funny.
Yeah,
It's also
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I win. You're like, oh wait.
Yeah. I'm like, man, I want to do more. Like, I feel I didn't not even work out.
It's also because you're preparing for like a war, right?
Yeah.
And then when it happens that easy, it's like, oh
Yeah,
shit!
it's like, oh,
Like
that's
all
it.
your adrenaline is still ready
Yeah,
for
yeah,
a war.
yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm like not big in the martial arts world, so like I'm a little confused, which might be good for some viewers who are also lost.
Yeah.
So you're a kickboxer, but you're fighting people who are using Muay Thai techniques. So that's legal, like in the fight you were saying, like they're using clenches on you and stuff.
No. So for sure, my style is mostly a kickboxing style, but I fought in a few different. How would you say? A few different
styles, like-
styles of fighting. Like
Yeah.
I did some pure Muay Thai fights
Okay.
with my kickboxing style, and that's when the people they would just clinch me.
They surprise you with some specific techniques there, like
Yeah, especially the clinch, because just striking, if it's just punches, kicks, knees, I'm good with that. But so let's say when I start the fight and I start dominating them, they're like, oh shit, okay, I gotta clinch that guy up,
yeah.
and then they would grab me by the neck and they would throw some knees, and I'm not. I would just wait until the ref breaks it. But in Muay Thai, you make a lot of points with it.
Okay.
So yeah, that was so I did some pure Muay Thai, I did some pure boxing, I did some pure kickboxing. But yeah, even in kickboxing, sometimes like if I fight a guy that's more of a traditional Muay Thai background, like they're still gonna try to clinch me and stuff. It's just at least it's a limited clinch, so he can grab me just like in boxing, but then the ref comes in right away and he breaks it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But they can. But in boxing, it's like a chance to rest, sort of. But in kickboxing, in Muay Thai, like they're gonna.
Yeah.
they're
Muay
gonna
Thai.
go in the
Rest,
ribs
yeah.
and shit, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, as long as there's action in the clinch, it can go forever.
yeesh.
So if you're working, yeah, it's so tired. It's like wrestling, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So
like
if you're,
exactly.
yeah, you're pulling down on the neck. You're trying to swim. Get the double underhook,
Yeah.
but it's behind the head. And then as long as there's some action there, as long as you're throwing some knees, trying to you can sweep to, you can bring the guy down.
Oh wow.
But when he's down, then you get back up. But yeah, as long as there's some action, the clinch keeps going.
So how do you deal with that when you're saying you're just waiting for it to break up?
Yeah, me because I didn't train it enough because that's really my Muay Thai fights were when I was just starting to train and to fight. So I didn't have all the techniques, like the crossface techniques or the whatever. I wasn't prepared. So yeah, I would just try to hold on the guy and wait until.
You just bring him closer. You're
yeah.
like, can't hit me.
And then
We're
again, I
hugging.
didn't get hurt. Like all of those guys, like their knees, they don't hurt me. So in my head, I'm just like it's like eating a jab. Sometimes you can eat a jab, it doesn't hurt. So I would just wait, but I would receive some small knees on my ribs, but they wouldn't hurt. So in my head, I'm like, oh, I don't care. I'm just gonna wait until the ref breaks it. But in Muay Thai, it's like one knee, so 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, 1 point, and then
Completely different scoring system.
yeah, the scoring system is not favoring me.
So you found your base is really strong in kickboxing, and that's where you
Yeah.
thrive in competition. Is
That's
Yeah.
my best. That's what I love doing. It's my style. It's
nice.
the pace that I like to keep.
I'd like to say, Ben, you've come such a long way because I've seen your development as a fighter.
Yeah,
And like I remember, like I don't know how we would do spar. You'd probably destroy me, but in the beginning, like I was giving you some
for sure.
some lessons, man. And then I just saw the hunger though, like right off the bat, because we're talking like 2012, 13,
Yeah,
and just I remember seeing you and explaining, like you were asking for advice to everyone, and you were just so hungry and so thirsty for knowledge. It was really cool to see, and now seeing you thrive and just now you're undefeated five belts, right?
yeah.
That's wild to see, man. And congrats to that.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
It's so cool to see someone's development, like kind of being a part of it and seeing it it's really wild.
yeah.
You must
But
have seen
man-
a lot of people surpass you.
Yeah, I mean now I haven't been there
Like
for a few years.
You
so-
helped them out at first, and then now they like you. You can only show him something at
Yeah,
this
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's crazy, but that's it's motivating to see when you see people like that at the gym who just excel and just picked up,
yeah.
got obsessed and just went for it.
Yeah.
But
that's it. Like I don't think I was ever like I didn't have any like particular talent or anything into it. Like for sure I was athletic, but nothing crazy. And even at first when like the first year I was sparring like Richard and Kevin, the boxing coach.
Kevin Land.
Yeah, Kevin Land, man. He was giving me so much shit about my defense. He was like, man, you got no defense. You're shit.
I remember I used to talk to you. You used to be so pissed about that.
Yeah.
Like, my defense sucks.
And and so I didn't have that innate talent or whatever. But man, it's just like anything else. It's just hard work, discipline, consistency.
Yeah, it's as simple as that. We've repeated ourselves, but that's reps too.
We're repeating the word reps. I love it. We've said it a bunch of times on the podcast, and it's like, I think a lot of people don't get it. It's weird. I don't even know if you understand or see. Like, you must see a lot of people like that. Like, you have a lot of discipline in your life. You need to focus. Maybe you have like less discipline in other parts of your life, so you still get it.
For sure.
Yeah, you're still human.
Yeah.
For someone like me who's never like really buckled down and taken something like and made it my life, like it's I have to drill it into my brain. Like, oh, I need to just do this until I get it.
Yeah.
It's like it's not like a computer where you can just punch in a code and it's done. We are programmable, but like it's like hitting a fucking nail in with a hammer. You just do it till it's done.
Yeah,
you just get it.
And that's the thing. You don't have to go super fast and like crazy to get it right away. Like, you take your time. You just keep going.
And usually that's the most effective approach.
Yeah.
You've seen it too, and I've seen it. Fighters who train super hard, harder than anyone in the gym, and they spar harder than anyone in the gym.
And then you don't see them for like a few months.
Yeah, they get injured or something. But even like high level guys that they burn out and their bodies just fall apart.
Yeah.
And they never made it to the big shows or whatever. It's because their body can't handle their warrior spirit. So it's not necessarily good to go super hard.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Does that happen? Like, I don't watch a lot of MMA. Like, does that happen a lot? Do you see people and they're kind of up and coming, and then like they just got caught up in the momentum? And like, if you continue with the hammer analogy, like you're saying, like if you go too fast and stupid, you like bend the nail and then you got to take it out and start over. Like you get hurt, you burn out. Like, do you see people who are really, they had a chance to be big and then they just kind of drop off the map because they fucked up?
Yeah, so many guys.
I don't want to put any names out there, but I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But this guy was like, for me, it was I thought he would have been world champion, highest level. And he was amazing wrestler, like brutal striker, and then just went so hard. I've never seen anyone train that hard in the gym. Like, he would go, I would literally see him for 6 hours at the gym. Like, I'd be training clients or whatever, and he's still hitting the bag, doing weights, just walking around, just pacing himself, then going to wrestling practice at night. And like, his body just couldn't handle it.
Like 7 days a week style?
Like probably. Maybe he took a day off, but I never saw him take a day off.
It's too much still, 6 hours.
But then his body got destroyed. And like, in my mind, I could have seen him being world champion, but his body couldn't keep up with his warrior spirit.
What's that expression? Burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
You ever heard that?
It's true.
I love that imagery where it's like you're fucked either way.
And you forget how important rest is,
Yeah. But especially, even for me, like, it's, since I started, it's been a battle to really find out like how much hard work I need, how much recovery and stuff like that. But I think a lot of us athletes, like, we forget that when we go to the gym, let's say, you want to train, like, let's say 6 hours a day to be as good as possible, as ready as possible for the fight. But those 6 hours, let's say I'm not really training 6 hours a day. Yeah. But let's say you're like, I'm going to train 6 hours today. It doesn't have to be 6 hours of hard training, because then for sure you'll burn yourself out. But that's one thing I need to bring also more into my training, is those super light sessions that are mostly focused on technique. And those are good, like, for recovery and stuff like that, instead of burning yourself out.
Active recovery.
Yeah, active recovery. Like, just going in, like, focus on the movement, like, just moving slowly, and then you ingrain it more into your, like, nervous system, and it's good for recovery. Like, you make the blood move.
Yeah,
I like that. With I can relate to that with something like a musical instrument. Like, you want to play it properly immediately, and you want to play fast, and especially guitar, because you could actually hurt yourself over time. Like, it's just like your skin breaks or something if you don't have calluses yet. It's a small comparison, but it's like a lot of the times you lose yourself in trying to get the result. Yeah. And a lot of people who've taught me how to play a bit of music, they always tell me to slow down. And it sucks. It sucks a little bit at first, because you just want to play like fast and good and do the song and whatever, but then you start getting the little movements. Yeah. You start hearing the song really well. And then you're able to speed it up more easily, and it sounds cleaner when you speed it up, instead of just like trying to do it right away. and then you sleep on it, and the next day you're like so much better.
Yeah, man.
It's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And you're I don't know why. You said it perfectly. Like you're like tricking your nervous system into just kind of getting it.
Yeah.
And then when you gotta go fast, it's there. It's just there for you. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I tell my students that all the time. Like when I train people, and let's say I'm showing either a combination or some defense techniques or whatever. I have something that I want to make them practice, and I see it all the time. Like they try to go too fast, and then when they go too fast like that, like they don't do it correctly.
Yeah.
Like it's not good. They're not gonna learn like that. They do a bunch of mistakes. So I always go to them. I'm like, oh, like go slower. Like you want to go as slow. Like there's not a specific speed, but you go as slow as you can until slow enough so that you can do everything like 100% correctly. Yeah, perfectly. Yeah. And then when you get that perfectly, you go a little bit faster, a little bit faster, a little bit faster until it goes like 100% speed. And then you're good.
It's so easy to go and skip that beginning step and just go full speed. Like you see with your students. And when I was teaching wrestling, that's like the one thing I say is like, do this move in slow motion.
Mm-hmm.
And then like if you're making a mistake in slow motion, then why are you doing it fast?
You realize how hard it is. It makes so much sense to put it that way, because you're not going to correct yourself when you're trying to go 100% speed.
No.
Everything's just like, it's like, how are you going to catch the mistake in that, you know? So you do it perfectly first. And, you know, in yoga as well, I find a lot of people, like, you know, when you're throwing a leg up, when you're doing like you're in sun salutation and you have to like bring the leg up to the front or something, depending on what style you're using. Do you do yoga? You're like
yeah,
okay,
sometimes.
Cool. So a lot of times you catch somebody doing it really sloppy, but like they're just happy that they're getting their foot up there. And then the teacher might say, like, you know, if it's not easy, you can plant your foot and then kind of bring it with your hand. Or like, hey, try doing that really slowly. And then you'll realize, instead of like kicking your leg up, you actually have to like engage your core, and you have to like change the way you breathe, and you have to really like reach with your foot. Suddenly it's a very different thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot harder than you thought.
Yeah.
But harder at first, but now you're training, like now the foundation's going to be stronger.
Yeah.
So it's like a perfect, just start slow. You said it perfectly. I'm not like that's exactly how those music teachers told me also. It's like, do it perfectly, as slow as you need to do it, and then start pushing that ceiling a little bit and go faster and faster. I didn't know that you teach also. That must be really cool.
I teach a few group classes, kickboxing classes a week, and mostly private clients that I train every week.
I'm curious. I mean, this is just a question for me, but like I tried teaching yoga a little bit, and we were talking about it yesterday. Like I think I prefer teaching one-on-one.
Yeah.
But what's like a difference for you? Like how does that feel when you're teaching a class versus teaching a person? Like, do you feel is one better than the other? Are there limits to either? Like, do you compare them at all? Do you bother comparing them at all? Does a person need both eventually to learn?
I mean, for sure, for the person learning, the private trainings are the best.
Okay.
Because the training is more, you know, specific to your goals. Like I'm there with that person the whole time, and you know all the little things that I see, you know, I can give them more cues, and so for sure the progress is faster in private training. Mm-hmm. Group classes are good because then you have partners that you can pair up with, and so you get that feel, because if you're always with a trainer just hitting pads or by yourself, or even if it's always with the same partner, you know, you won't grow as much as a fighter. But if you go in a group class and then you go with different partners from different levels and stuff like that, then it's good. It's good too. So both are important, but for sure the private, if you want to get better fast, it's the best way.
Are you going to spar often with? Well, spar might not be the right word, but are you going to like be directing the person in a private class, or are you going to be fighting with them a little bit also? Like, because
it depends what they want.
Okay.
Because I have a bunch of clients they all have different goals, but some of them they want to learn how to fight, and then I do pads with them, technique, and then sometimes if they want, I can spar with them.
And so like that would make me nervous. Like I said, I'm not really a martial artist. Like you can lay a motherfucker out if you're not careful, or like that's what you're training your body to do all the time, you know. So you have that control. Like you can Okay, so you just 100% trust yourself. Like I remember learning kung fu for a couple of years, and I was flinching sometimes when the master was like showing me stuff, and he just grabbed me once and he went, "I'm never gonna hurt you."
Yeah.
And he just kind of like he starts like freaking me out on purpose.
Yeah,
but
that's a good
he's
drill.
Just looking, yeah.
Yeah.
He's just going close up and like going really near me and just he's like, "I'm in control. You could do whatever you want, just don't move." When you flinch, that's when I'm gonna hurt you. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's important because like a good coach, a good trainer, and a good fighter is they are already, because they've done it slow and shadow box. They have the whole velocity and speed behind them where they can choose. Okay, we're going light, so they know exactly what light is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and then versus okay, I know when I'm sparring we can go a little bit in this category where it's a little bit like 80%, and in fight I know how to go to 100. They have so much control. That's why sparring partners is so valuable. Like having good sparring.
Yeah,
partners.
exactly. Picking up the good ones, the right ones.
Yeah, because some people don't know that beginning control, and beginners have that a lot actually. That's why I was going to ask you, like for some clients that you have, I'm sure they you know you're going light, but they don't really understand how to go light yet.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So I think I'm pretty good at control and like going light and not hurting the other person. Like I think I'm pretty good at that. But yeah, that's the thing. It's the other person, like
That's the bigger worry.
the beginner that I'm teaching.
Yeah.
I have to be careful because you can get hurt because
Yeah,
they don't have that control, and also they don't have the
Timing's off.
yeah, the timing is off. Sometimes, let's say I'm in front of them, I do a feint, like I'm faking that I'm going to do something. Usually a good fighter would respond by trying to block or something. But if I do that against a beginner, their answer might be, instead of trying to protect themselves, they're just going to panic and throw a punch. And then I get hit, and I'm like, oh man, like I'm not used to that.
You don't expect it because
No, you
that's
don't
not the
expect-
smart move.
Exactly, yeah.
It's literally a dance. It's like the better you get at like the same thing in wrestling, but the better you get, it's like the better your dancing partners are, and then it's like it's a flowing round. But if you have a beginner, it's like they're stepping on your toes and all the shit, but it actually works, but it's not technical. It's not, they won't progress in that angle. They're fucking up because you're...
And it works at that time because I'm going super light.
Exactly.
If I would go super hard, same as them,
There
like
you go.
then it
There
would
you
be
go.
different.
They might get like in a real fight, they might get a punch in because the beat is so different. You know, like you're playing with people who are on the same speed as you. I hear that in
But-
video games and sports games and stuff. Like the beginner gets the drop on you because they're so bad.
Yeah.
that you didn't expect that. It's like
Yeah,
a poker player who goes like all in on a stupid hand, and you're doing the math, and you're like, okay, I'm probably gonna win this, and then they fucking win on like the what's it called, the river there,
yeah.
and you're like, fucking asshole, why did you even,
Yeah.
you know, like you're mad at him even though he won. It's like you shouldn't have done that. You should have folded. You
It wasn't
freaking
technical.
asshole. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm
Yeah.
just like,
No, man, beginners, I think they're the most dangerous people to spar with.
Yeah.
I did jujitsu for like 2 days, and on the second day, I'm on the floor, and the guy's like coming up to me. I don't know the names of the guard and all this stuff. So twice
You
in
gave
a
him an
row.
elbow.
No, I need him in the jaw.
It's
He
either the
walks up-
elbow or the knee.
Yeah, I just clocked him, and I went, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry!" Like as soon as he came up and like leaned into me, my legs just went up, and so he's leaning right when my leg goes up, and I'm just like, "Oh man, I'm sorry." I hear his teeth touch, like really bad.
Yeah.
And then I do it again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I think I did it 3 times. I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on. Mark even said it. Like we had him on the podcast. He's like I think he's a purple belt now or something. But
He's
he
close to brown.
Do I know
good for
him?
I don't think so, no.
Mark
Okay.
Belland, maybe. Fuck, who knows? He does 10th
He's at
Planet
10th
in
Planet.
Verdun.
Okay, yeah. Probably.
He told me when I first started, he says, as long as you're not a spaz, it's okay. And I didn't know what he meant. I'm like, I'm not a spaz. I got good reflexes. I'm like a fucking ninja compared to the people around me. And no,
Yeah.
I just have this. There's something off that's not there yet, and I could really hurt somebody just by accident.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
You're in it. It's
Especially in
really-
jiu-jitsu because it's like very close quarters, you know.
Yeah, but
back in
that's
the
worse,
beginning.
though, because you're throwing punches and shit. Like you're,
Yeah, but the
I
thing
would
is,
say
Yeah?
grappling. I did a bit, and I would get a lot more hurt doing grappling, just jiu-jitsu or wrestling, especially wrestling.
Yeah.
But most people too, like at the gym and stuff, I see them. All the grapplers, they get a lot more injuries than I ever got in kickboxing.
I have a theory
Wow.
behind that. And
really.
Tell me if you agree with this theory. Well, it's not even a theory; it's just just an observation.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
reason there's more injuries because in kickboxing, you can't spar the same duration you spar in jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu, you can do 10, 15 rounds a night, 5-minute rounds, 6-minute rounds per person. So you're live sparring for over an hour.
We talked about it's acute versus chronic.
And then in kickboxing, you can't do an hour of hard rounds. I'm sure like with good partners, but like you'll do like 10 rounds a night or something like that, or 5 rounds a night. And it's a lot. There's like 2-minute or 3-minute rounds. So and you can't do that every single night during the week. Yeah. Because you're going to get a fucking concussion. But in jiu-jitsu, you can go hard literally every day of the week. Yeah. So the duration of sparring is way longer. So there's more, you're prone to more injuries and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Besides also the joint locks and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, that plays a role. But yeah, just having the, going in, especially wrestling, you go in with your head, you push with your head to the side.
Yeah. You get those little ringers in the neck.
Yeah. And then all the you fall down, you get a knee on your face or whatever, something. You do a weird movement on the ground, like you try to scramble, but you go the wrong way, and then you twist your knee in a weird way. Kickboxing, I don't have that.
No. You just gotta watch out for concussions.
That's the danger.
I wanted to talk to you about that because you've had a few scary ones for in your duration of training. No, I remember there was one that the symptoms were stuck with you for a while.
Yeah, but even till today, like I don't know what the fuck happened. Like, because that's the thing. I never got knocked out. I never got rocked. I never got dropped. Like nothing. Wow. And in all my fights, I never got hurt. Like I come out of my fights usually like clean, like nothing happening to me. And then, but yeah, the few times that I've received like some damage was in training and in sparring. And until today, I don't know really what it is. Like it's just, let's say I spar as usual, and then I would receive a bigger punch than usual, but those punches, like they're nothing crazy. Like I used to eat those punches when I first started, and it was nothing, like peanuts. Yeah. But then let's say I do a sparring session and I receive a bigger hit, like maybe with someone heavier, and then everything is fine. Like I keep training, but then it's either the night of or the next day, whatever. I'm like I start having a headache, and then what really scared me was I started feeling like dizzy. And like throughout the day, like nothing, like I wouldn't lose balance or anything, but it's just a subtle feeling that as if I'm like on a boat or something. But that feeling would stay with me all day long. And then it stayed like the last year, that was my worst. Like it stayed like for 3 months or something like that. And that was scary. But till this day, I don't know, like is it a concussion? Is it... Because I started also, after that, I started feeling anxious, more anxious. And I don't know, because if you get brain damage, it can create anxiety. But also anxiety can create the same symptoms that I had, like headaches and dizziness and stuff like that. So it's a weird mix. Until today, I'm not sure really what it is, like what came first, or is it a bit of both, or is it just one or two? Because for sure... And since that happened, like I've been feeling more anxiety than ever before.
Okay.
Yeah. That's interesting. I never thought, because I had some recent anxiety in my life, and I had vertigo. I had clear vertigo. I was like feeling sick. And it was obvious that they were connected. And sometimes, even like last week, I got a little anxious about something, and I start feeling stuff moving, and I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, like it really is connected. It's crazy. Yeah. But I never thought it was connected to getting knocked, because I'm like I said, I don't fight, but I've gotten knocked, man. Really? I fell on the trampoline super hard. I got hit by a car once. God. Yeah, dude. One time I was in India and I fucking rode a bus for 6 hours, and it was so bumpy that I would hit my head on the fucking ceiling. Sometimes, like
brain
twice.
Damage.
That's for sure. Dude. I had headache. I felt so sick for weeks after that bus ride. Oh my god. And I did like a protocol to kind of like recover from concussion. Yeah. To see if I had a concussion, and it helped. And I'm like, oh shit, maybe I have a concussion. Yeah. And then eventually, like sometimes I still do that, and I don't know, that being like, not watching or reading something new, and just like taking it easy, not like days off from work, like just taking like.
You take supplements or stuff like that?
No, not anymore. Nothing special right now. Actually, like it's funny. I used to have like a pharmacy, and now I take nothing. I take like vitamin D.
Yeah, you
during
don't
the
need that
winter.
much stuff. But I heard there's a bunch of supplements that can help for concussion and brain damage.
Is it the cordyceps mushrooms there, or there was
Yeah, they're lion's mane.
yeah, lion's mane?
Lion's mane, that
I
helps. Yeah, I take
Really?
some.
heard about that.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, lion's mane mushrooms help for that. I take fish oil. Turmeric helps for the inflammation.
That's always in my diet.
What else? I don't know. I took a bunch of everything I could find out that could help. I was taking it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I had one bad experience with supplements, and it's so funny because it was Centrum. Of all the
Centrum. Oh, the
That's just the-
multivitamin. No.
yeah, of all the weird shit I bought online and just put into my body, the fucking most legit one ever. But it was the gummies. It was the fucking gummies. My brother just like swears by them, and I just started buying some extra. Like I'm like, buy me some too, and I'll take those, so I don't have to think about it, you know. And dude, I got so tired. It was like a sugar crash.
From the gummies.
Yeah. But there's not a lot of sugar in them. It's a gummy. It tastes good. You know, there must be something in there to make it more palatable. But
So you had a negative effect though.
yeah, really,
Yeah.
like I took a couple and I felt weird, and it was building up. And one day I just like slept for 4 hours in the middle of the day. I was like, I couldn't take it. And then I was just like, I think it's the supplement. I think it's the Centrum. And I stopped taking them. I feel amazing. The next day, just boom.
The problem with those multivitamins is they load it with like every possible vitamin you can think of.
Yeah.
But sometimes you already have X vitamin and you don't need extra of it. And it's like it's just like a giant generalization. It's like fuck, like this will work for some. I guess it won't work for everyone.
That's a good point.
You
That's
know?
a good point.
Yeah,
you look
there's
at
a-
it. There's like 8,000% of this.
Yeah,
6,000% of this. They're like
And especially, I think Centrum, it's not from a natural source. The vitamins, they're how do they artificial vitamins, I guess. But also, yeah, it's tricky with multivitamins because they say also, like it comes with a bunch of vitamins altogether. But let's say if you eat a food, I don't know what example I could give, but whatever. Let's say you have some vitamin A in that food, in your body. How could I explain? They say, let's say to get a certain amount of vitamin, sometimes it takes some other vitamins in your body.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Like some things counteract, but other things actually need each other.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What is it? Like, I can't remember. I don't have an example either. Like magnesium helps you take in calcium. Something like that. That's one example.
Yeah, so stuff
So
like that. So
if
when
you
you take a
have
bunch of vitamins together, they interact with each other. One vitamin will impede the absorption of another one and stuff like that. So maybe you're getting more of a certain vitamin, but you're depleting yourself of other vitamins because
Shit. Like sugar too. Like we need sugar, but apparently if you have too much, it starts taking it like it demineralizes you somehow. Like it creates an acidity in your blood, and then your body's always matching the pH, so it starts taking minerals from your bones. Like that's just a gross example, but like you know, you could just not need. You know what's weird too? Like you might like take something like vitamin D or magnesium or calcium or whatever, and your body's gonna use it in a bunch of ways, and it'll turn something into a bunch of other stuff. Like it's so hard to understand all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
You go on like Joe Rogan and you listen to Rhonda Patrick talking, and your head is spinning, and you're like, oh my god. And then she's like, oh, this contingency and that contingency and this contingency, and you're like, oh no.
and that's why the things like Centrum they're just it's like a hit or a miss
It's a
for a lot of
blanket.
people.
Yeah, it's like here, try all this shit, and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I've tried so many random things. I've tried nootropics. I've tried just trying to get everything from your diet, and I don't know what
You've
works.
done the On It pack. I remember that you
That was
bought like this
amazing.
fucking box from On It. It was like what $270 or something like
Total
that.
Human. Yeah,
Total-
dude, it was fucking expensive because it was
Oh,
in
shit.
American.
Yeah.
I thought I was getting a good deal because it was like Boxing Day and shit. But honestly, I was so depressed that month. I was like ready to try anything, and that helped me a lot.
Okay.
That fucking helped me a lot, man.
It was an intense. You had like a pack in the morning and at night. It was like take this in the
yeah, it
morning,
was
take
like
this at night.
it was like 12 pills in a pack. Like you rip it in half, and you have like a morning and a night one.
Okay, yeah.
Because I don't know. Do you know On It? And like
Yeah.
So they have a bunch of shit, right? They have like a mushroom thing for your gut bacteria. They have they have a codfish oil thing. They have Alpha Brain, which is a nootropic, but it's also like good for your brain in other ways. They just put everything in a fucking pack, and then they put all the more or less the same, but a little bit different in the night pack. and then they give you like 30 of them or 31 or something. Like, so I just had this fucking box. I still have it now. I use it as like a weed box.
But did you feel something from it?
Big time.
Wow.
Like my mood was so bad that it was such a shift that it was
Okay.
obvious to me.
Micronutrients, man.
I don't know.
But sometimes you don't know if these stuff are placebo.
That's it. I don't.
'Cause,
I
yeah.
have no idea. There's no way to know.
Because, same. Let's say sometimes I take more supplements than others, but I don't feel any better when I take a lot of supplements than when I don't take any at all. So I'm sure the most important thing is the diet.
Yeah.
100%.
But yeah, sometimes let's say sometimes I get so excited, like I do a research on a new supplement.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is gonna change my life. And then you go on Amazon, you read the reviews, and you see people like they say, oh, I have, and then they say like their condition, then their health condition. They're like, yeah, I've been suffering from this for that amount of years. Nothing has helped me more than this specific supplement, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh man, this should really work. And then I try it and like, I don't feel any different. I'm sure people like they get the placebo is working for them, or
It's a huge thing for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like for sure, putting in that investment, that amount of money, and being so desperate, I was just an easy way to feel better.
Yeah.
And it helped so much that I'm just grateful. And
Yeah.
I think I even said it, like, I don't care if it's placebo.
Yeah, you mentioned
I'm leaning into this, and it helped. It saved me.
I wonder though, because if it is placebo and it still works, then that has some value.
Yeah,
for sure.
You know?
Well, it takes away some value because you want to be able to hack that yourself. But here's the nocebo thing is interesting also, because I had, when I started getting vertigo, I went to the doctor and I did a blood test, and he says your blood is fucking perfect, and I'm like, what did you just say to me?
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, everything's normal and your vitamin D is higher than it should be, because I take vitamin D supplements during the winter, and he's like, there's nothing wrong with you.
and then you start feeling good again.
No, that's the problem. Like I just realized that it was psychological.
Okay.
It's still real. It still hurts. It's still fucking with my day. It's just not my nutrition. He told me, like, dude, you don't have celiac. You don't have any kind of gluten intolerance. Your gut bacteria is good. Like, whatever he could tell from a full blood work. Again, Dr. Rhonda Patrick will tell you that's a snapshot. That's a picture of a moment in a day. So it may or may not be, But he's a good doctor. He's the kind of guy, he's so relaxed. And I just say, like, yo, this is fucking with me. And he goes, stop doing that.
Okay.
He's just like, let's see what happens. Like, he's on the adventure with you. He's not telling you how to live,
Yeah.
So when I told him I had vertigo, he's like, it's going to go away in a couple of days. Don't worry. Like, I've seen vertigo left and right, like, you just see what happens.
Yeah.
There's so many reasons that could be happening, and I'm just correlating it with my anxiety. I don't fucking know what's going on.
Yeah.
But-
no, yes.
There's so many variables, man. And
Yeah, I've been on the same
big
journey.
variable is the fucking testadura, bro. This stupid hard head.
yeah, it's true.
I don't know. Anyway, I feel a rant coming on. I'm gonna stop myself.
No, but you're right. Like I've been feeling the same thing, like with the anxiety and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you don't know, is it coming from the brain? And now they say, you have the gut-brain axis or whatever. Like
The gut biome.
yeah.
Full connection.
So yeah, your gut could be affecting your anxiety.
And who know? Like, I heard peanut butter is like terrible for your gut bacteria.
Really?
Yeah.
I eat peanut butter every day.
Me too, man. I fucking love that shit. And
Apparently
I'm like,
it's
bro,
the worst for your gut bacteria.
I don't know.
Oh,
But
yeah?
it must depend on the person as well.
I don't
What
know.
about the almond butter?
I think it's better.
Yeah?
I think it's better.
Better, but still.
Wasn't it cashew butter is like the best?
I don't remember. It was
Hmm.
some doctor.
There's
on
some
podcast somewhere.
there's some chemical in the peanut butter that's toxic, and it's like what the gut bacteria, like the bad one, thrives off of, something
Oh,
like that.
shit.
You have to check it out.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, we put a disclaimer. Google that shit and correct us.
Yeah, we don't fucking. We're not doctors.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. Do you ever feel like there's a clear reason why you have an anxiety, like a moment of anxiety? Is there something in your life worth being anxious? I mean, you're a
No.
fighter. Like that could be exciting, but you're used to it. Like, what is?
Yeah. No, that's the thing. Like when it happened last year, those 3 months or whatever, man, it was like the worst mental place that I was in of all my life.
Oh, wow.
Mentally. And yeah, I've been like competing and like, when you get ready for a fight and you go and you fight, it's something stressful that could make you anxious or whatever. But
Big mind game. Yeah.
yeah, but I never felt the same anxiety that I felt in those 3 months. It was like fighting was nothing compared to what I was feeling.
That's crazy.
And the thing was, that it was nothing. Let's say some people get anxious because they think of what they have to do tomorrow, or like a problem they have in their life or whatever. But sometimes I wasn't thinking about anything, and I would just feel like that crazy, like anxiety. I'm like, man, like what's happening?
Was it to the point of panic attacks?
At one point, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, at one point. And again, like, because until that point in my life, I didn't know what anxiety was, because I never really like noticed it in my body.
Yeah.
So I started feeling it, and I would get close to panic attacks. But at first I didn't know. I'm like, man, was that a heart attack or whatever?
That's how you know. You're like, I think I need to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And
But
you're fine. You're like,
yeah.
And it just makes it worse. It's just now you have something to be anxious about.
Yeah. But one thing that it made me realize was that during those 3 months, since it was so intense, like the anxiety, I realized that I actually had some all my life. But just it was like so minimal that I wasn't noticing it.
Cool.
But now, since I was feeling it that much, I'm like, man, I remember feeling that like sometimes when I was younger or whatever. And I think the main source of my anxiety is that's one thing I have since I'm a kid, is I have health anxiety, like hypochondriac.
Yeah.
I have that for sure. Like as soon as I have like some small symptoms or whatever, like I start to panic. I'm like, man, is it cancer or whatever? So I have that since I'm a kid.
That sucks.
And so I think that's why I don't know really if I had a concussion, like maybe, like I received some hit or whatever. So maybe it affected me. But then I don't know how much just my health anxiety problem made it worse.
Maybe, huh? Fuck.
Do you still get those symptoms of anxiety, of that feeling?
Yeah, for sure. It's not as intense as it was last year, but it comes and goes.
Okay.
Did you do anything to cope with it psychologically or biologic? Like, did you change your diet or something? Did anything?
Yeah, I started eating. I tried to eat better for sure. Last year I was meditating a lot too, and that really helped. I should go back to it because that was one of the best things for the mind.
Meditation, motherfucking meditation.
I love how we're all in the same boat though. Like no one sticks to it.
Yeah.
We're like, it's so good for you. It's so awesome.
Yo,
I haven't done it in 5 months, but I can't wait to start again.
I meditated twice since the 10-day Vipassana. That was in November. So
last year again. Yeah, I don't like saying what I used to do and I don't do anymore. But last year I was such on a good start. 2019, the first few months I was meditating every morning. Like it was part of my routine. I would wake up and I started small. Like I started the first few times it was 3 minutes.
Nice.
I was meditating and that was enough. Then I went to 5, then 10, then I tried some 15. But usually every morning it was around 10 minutes.
Nice.
And just that 10 minutes, like it was like clearing up my mind for the rest of the day. And also because I'm sure we all have that, but I really associate it as like it's a real addiction, just like any other addiction. I think I have an addiction to thoughts.
Man.
Yeah, like
That's a
I'm
cool way of
always,
putting it, yeah.
I'm always talking in my head. Like it's an addiction. You're addicted to your thinking patterns.
Yeah.
And sometimes I feel imprisoned by it. Like I'm like, man, like I just want to focus on the present, like whatever. But I'm
you can't catch your breath. And
exactly, and it's annoying.
I call it like a domino. Like like one thought happens and then like 10 thoughts come out like a machine. Yeah. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. What the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
Or it's like a monkey.
Yeah.
The monkey mind.
So you found with meditation you were able to organize that a little bit better.
Yeah. So it really
organizes itself, sort of.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It's like dropping oil in water. It just kind of starts to just separate into this thing where you can observe it easier.
You know how I see it? It's like you give it space. Like your brain, like you make your mind like this, and it's the same amount of energy. It's like imagine you're steaming water, and it gets like you could make a bomb with steam, just with steam. Yeah. But then you just give it space, and now there's just a little fucking vapor in the middle of this big ass room. It's the same thing happening, but it's just going to lose its energy and dissipate in this bigger space. And I'm sure you notice it as well. You even kind of said it, like you give yourself a chance to kind of run through the thoughts.
Yeah.
And they don't continue because you have that space.
You just
whatever
notice
that's
it.
called.
You notice it, but you don't stay attached to it.
Yeah, you don't add to it.
Yeah, you don't entertain it.
Yeah, it's so big. It's like, how do you put it? Oh, I was gonna say something really good and I lost it. Fucking drugs.
Yeah.
Meditation, monkey mind,
Organizing your mind.
organizing your mind. Oh yeah, I remember now. So I love meditating. Like minimum, I don't do it, but I'd like to do like 20 minutes. But let's say even if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's what I've been doing lately. I just started again, and what I do is like a little bit in the morning and a little bit at night. And I find in the morning, if it's the first thing you do, it kind of like sets a precedent for the rest of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's so much easier to get centered when you just woke up. And at night, you can't help but feel everything you went through in the day. And it's like almost like I sit to meditate and I almost wake up and start going through my day again. But like everything I thought of, everything I felt starts going again. And it's messy sometimes. You don't even finish the day. If you like went on fucking Facebook or YouTube or you worked or something.
Oh, it's
like,
a nice way to finish the day, you say?
Yeah. Some people, I think more practiced meditators or maybe people who just practice this technique specifically, they actually review their day at night.
Okay.
It's like not necessarily meditation, but you sit in there and you kind of process the day, and your memory is better because you looked like you just practiced your memory, and like your dreaming must be affected and different, and your sleep must be a better quality because you're not holding on to all this shit. Like, I think I even heard of this in Jewish religion. I'm like pointing at you. Like I don't
Jewish.
know. Yeah.
Jew over here.
That's so bad. Apparently I don't know if they journal or something, but like I heard someone told me about this once. There's so many rules and shit. Like not everyone follows everything in any religion, but apparently it's like part of the culture. And
I don't know. I'd have to ask my girlfriend. She's more Jewy than I am.
more Jewy, but like there's a lot of journaling lore out there and studies and stuff. Like it's good gratitude journal, like reviewing, just processing information, stream of consciousness.
You're giving me good ideas because I never thought about journaling at night.
Dude.
And I feel like that would be such a valuable way to not only organize your thoughts, but to work through stresses that maybe you weren't aware of, that you just slept on, and that they're just stored in there, and then eventually that bubble grows and grows and grows. But if you went, like you wrote down like whatever's on your mind from that night, from the day, and then maybe you'll notice something you wrote was a trigger that would have affected you the next day, but you recognized it that night. And that's a form of meditation. It's just you're observing your thoughts on paper.
And it's mindfulness. Like tomorrow can only be better after doing that. For sure. You're like, oh, these are all the fuck ups I did. And like, hopefully you have you let it go there.
Yeah, exactly. Writing it down is kind of a letting go.
That's a good, in itself. You're just like, oh, it's kind of like when I was talking to myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. None of this is on the podcast, so people are a little lost probably, but we had like a nice long conversation yesterday. Yeah. And it's like a way of letting it go. I just hear it. Because inside it's a fucking tornado.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
say shit.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, I didn't even realize I was thinking of that or thinking of it that way. And then it just kind of clicks a little better. And I go, oh, shit.
What surprises me is how little control we have over our minds. And like, it's a fucking tool that none of us know how to use.
It's a tool, man. It's a survival tool.
And we have all these things from survival of adaptations of thinking of threats and how to avoid threats and thinking of remembering that threat so you don't do it. Like, it's a very smart database, but now we're here in a safe environment and that fucking thing is just going like this.
But that's it. But because the mind, I'm sure like your thoughts and everything, your mind was created to help you survive. Like it was made like, oh, how can I stay away from those predators, and how can I build like a place that is safe or whatever.
Or don't eat those fucking mushrooms because Johnny died last week.
Yeah.
Not Johnny.
Yeah. So it was made for survival, like, and you didn't have time to overthink about other stuff. It was just like, oh, what I need to do now to survive and stuff. But now that we got the survival out of the equation, because everything is so like safe now and stuff, now we have that survival tool that is you don't need to use for survival, so it's just there,
Freaking out.
and then you have to
Yeah.
you have to entertain it.
It's
And-
giving you anxiety.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And think about it. Those systems operate off of sounds in the bushes, sounds there, something behind you, and then we're going around in a city, for example. I don't know if you ever noticed this, but if you go up north,
Mm.
and it's just automatically there's like this sense of calmness.
Yeah.
And I think noticing, because I went to Vipassana when I got there.
Where?
Vipassana. It's a 10-day meditation
Oh,
retreat.
Okay.
Yeah, it's silent meditation. We spoke about it so many times on the podcast. We're probably going to get yelled at. But it's 10
Fuck
days.
you, you love it.
Yeah, it's 10 days in silence, and you
Okay.
meditate like 10 hours a day, and it's just all about observing your thoughts, observing deeper than thoughts. So just observing. You know?
Yeah.
But when you're there, like you're automatic. As soon as you get there, you're in the country. It's like it's calmness. And then I remember driving back into the city after 10 days. You're so open.
Yeah, you get anxious.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe better than I felt like a sound wave hit me as soon as I got onto like the 15.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, that's always there. We're just tuned that out because we're used to it. But all those systems of survival are being, you hear a car honk, you panic for that split second. That system is going inside.
Yeah.
You're going a little bit anxious, and it builds and it builds and it
Yeah,
builds.
and there's all these manifestations of those anxieties, like like you're soothing yourself. You know, you're twitchy. You're moving your leg.
It's
It's
just-
Yeah, that's
comforting
it.
you some
Yeah,
way. You know,
you're a
It's-
canvas of just twitchy of tension.
Yeah.
You know,
Like when are you really like relaxed? Like all your muscles are loose and everything. Like never.
Yeah, you
like
hear a noise, you panic, your shoulders go up, you
Yeah.
panic.
A
And
lot
that
of
could have been a
people-
fucking honk. You know,
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm doing it right now, and I don't even notice.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like,
yeah. Sometimes I'm just chilling at night in front of the TV. Like I'm supposed to be relaxed, but then I notice I'm like, man, my leg is like tensed up and stuff. And then I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I have to consciously like relax my muscles.
Or your jaw. My jaw is a big one for me. Like even when I'm sleeping, like when you're supposed to be relaxed. That's why fucking Shavasana is so hard. Like we've said it 100 times also. Like you're awake, you're conscious, but you're shutting down your body. You're letting gravity do everything, and you're just melting into the fucking. I mean, it means death, like dead corpse pose, right?
corpse
You're
pose.
supposed to be.
it's the last pose in yoga. It's the last pose in
Yeah,
yoga
yeah.
where you just lie on
Yeah,
your
yeah,
back.
yeah.
And it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
And that speaks volumes. That sums up everything we're talking
They
about.
always say that it's the hardest pose,
Yeah.
and I'm just catching myself now thinking about because I do a lot of yoga, but I notice when it's Shavasana, I just get up and leave. Like I usually
Fuck you, bro. Are
I
you
know.
serious?
I used to stay there for like 30 minutes.
No, man.
But I was doing it unconsciously. I'm just like, okay, I got my practice in.
You son of a bitch. That's
But
the
I'm
most
real-
important
I
part
know.
of the. No, but
I
the-
know, man. I know.
it's the recovery.
I know. And
it's the
I just
shutdown.
realized because I have internal nervous tension that I'm not dealing with.
I guess so. Yeah,
And that's
you can't
because
sit
there's
there.
no reason to. I just get impatient. I'm like, fuck. I never used to be this way. So there's something that's buried in that I got to pull out again.
That's how do you deal with that? Because you harness that to fight. So like, how do you
Like what?
space that out?
Like
You need tension to be a fighter.
Yeah.
You need to have that
Yeah.
animal instinct of just snap and go.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Like I was just listening to a podcast, and it's the yoga guy on JRE, and they're talking about how the best fighters, especially in jiu-jitsu, so maybe it doesn't relate, but you have like the calmer you are, the more
Oh
you're
yeah,
gonna win.
yeah, 100%. No, you gotta be super relaxed and you gotta be calm. Yeah, you see the best fighters in the world. They're the most calm and
Yeah.
and
Poker
you see
face.
poker face for sure. But all their muscles, you see everything is loose,
Yeah.
and it's only at the right moment that you see they tense up the muscles, and it's also
It's channeled.
yeah. And when you throw a combination, like it's not all your muscles being tense and engaged in the same time. Like it's just the right muscles at the right time being activated,
Yeah.
and then all the rest relaxes. And then when you're done punching, everything relaxes, and so it's you need both. Like it's not because you do one like a violent sport or whatever, and it's extreme, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's not all 100% like intense. Like you're relaxed, you burst, you relax, you burst.
It's gears.
Yeah.
It's like you're not in fucking sixth all the time
No,
when you're
no,
driving.
no.
It doesn't
That's
make
why.
sense.
That's why I think meditation and that whole culture in samurai culture and in martial arts, meditation and the fighting are so neatly packed together. You know, it's like you need to have the yin and the yang, the balance. Because if you're too much on the yang, too aggressive, you won't be the best fighter. You won't survive. Your body will break down.
Yeah.
And if you're too relaxed, you're just going to be a fucking yogi and no fighting. So you have to find like the battle between the two.
I just chuckled. I scoffed because it wasn't a scoff, but I just laughed because you're describing every bad guy in every martial arts movie is the one who's like, I'm the best. I challenge you. You know, like that.
These are
asshole.
archetypes.
And then there's the dude in the corner who's like, his eyes are closed and he's like, we don't need to fight. It's okay. But then he fucks him up. You know, it's like,
but that's
it's
it.
Literally, it's like
but that's
this
an archetypal image. Like that's just used in movies, but there's a lot of meaning behind that. You know, and those are stories that have been told for fucking thousands of years.
I kind of feel like that's harmful sometimes because it creates a separation. It's like the calm guy used to be like that at some point. Probably. There's some kids who are just born like super chilled out, and you're like weirded out by them. You know, you're like, why are you so enlightened? You're like 7. You know, but there's like a period. I'm sure you went through it as well. You know, like you were. When you're learning to fight and you realize what your body can do and you fucking lace somebody, you're like, oh, I'm protected. Like I have like big ass knuckles and shit too, and like I have my shins are really conditioned. When I used to do Taekwondo, I would just like lift my leg like Muay Thai style, and they would just kick me, and I used to get in trouble. He's like, look, that's a good defense in real life, but can you stop? Because like that yellow belt is just like this for like the next 20 minutes. Like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
So it's like a cheminement, like it's a natural progression. It's a natural, like it's like some people just get stuck there. Some people could be 50, 60 years old and they're that asshole who thinks like, or maybe that happens again. Maybe it comes in circles. Like that's the thing also.
I think if you do it long enough, correctly enough, you get humbled. Like that's usually what you see. And if you don't get humbled, that's where you're going to be stuck in that egotistical type of fighter or whatever you are. It's like,
that's fair.
You know, like
that's fair.
We all came in there in the beginning, maybe off the bat, just from watching sport or getting an idol off the bat, came in humble. But there's a lot of times, and me included, when I first started jiu-jitsu, I was like this. I understood like getting my ass kicked, but I never felt it. And then like I remember it was a 6 months in. It was a tough thing to deal with, getting tapped daily and just like constantly getting my ass kicked by guys half my size and whatever. And then if you want to last in that sport, you got to give up on that. You got to be like, you know what, fuck, I suck. And then you build from there. And then you start,
I suck, but that's okay.
Yeah, you start saying, I suck, but how can I get better? And you start asking the right questions, you know? But I guess some people just get stuck in that beginning process and never get out of it.
But I wonder how they get better then.
Maybe they don't.
They don't. Yeah. That's why they lose in the movies.
You know,
that's it.
You see fighters there with like terrible scores or terrible records, and they just keep fighting, and they never really improve.
Yeah.
I've seen fighters like that. It's just maybe they're just so hard-headed that you can't teach them anything new, or maybe they're in the wrong environment. I don't know.
Or they just didn't get humbled at the right time.
Yeah.
But like you said it perfectly. Like if you keep at it, you must get humbled eventually. There's always somebody better, or you make a mistake because you're feeling cocky, and then. You know, next thing you know, you're on the floor and you're thinking about your decisions
you
in life.
You see it at the highest levels. Conor McGregor, when he fought Khabib, like after that fight, he was humbled. He had to have been humbled.
Yeah.
You know, whatever he says now, it's fine. Like he's talking shit, but it clearly, less now.
Really? I'm just making it up. Yeah,
he didn't talk shit his last fight. He was very respectful. Actually, it was pretty cool.
Cool.
But I think there's two things that can happen. You can lose, and it can ruin your entire career. Or it can lose and say, what the fuck did I go? Where did I go wrong? And then really look inwards. And that's where the saying win or learn comes from. Yeah. You know? So I think, I don't know yet on Conor, but from the looks of it, it looks like he's learned a lot from that loss. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
But
even against Cerrone, like he wasn't, he wasn't the same way for his promo and stuff. He wasn't doing the same shit that he was doing before. Yeah, he wasn't talking that much shit or... Yeah.
He really...
More
McGregor
respect.
Fought Cowboy?
Yeah. It's just how... Yeah.
I would love to see that.
It's a quick fight,
There's not much to see.
It's a 40-second fight.
No.
Yeah, he pummeled him, unfortunately.
Who pummeled who?
Conor pummeled Cowboy.
Whoa.
Just dominated him.
Whoa.
Yeah. Shoulder strikes. KO by shoulder strikes.
I don't know enough about this world, man.
He invented a new move.
But I want to see. He punched him with his fucking collarbone.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oof. That was a tough one.
It's called the Connor.
Yeah. But
he cornered him in the fucking nose.
It's amazing to see it at all levels that your ego can get over you and control you for that moment, and then just smash the ego down. You lose, and you got to start right back from scratch.
Yeah.
At the highest possible levels, it still happens. You know, we're all guilty of it.
That kind of comforts me. I don't know.
What?
Like that, even the best are human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But yeah,
Anderson Silva too. You remember versus
Weidman.
Weidman. He
Yeah.
was taunting him more than any fight I've ever seen. I think he just like, I'm the fucking best. Fuck this, and he just taunting, and he got caught taunting, and he got KO'd. You know,
Yeah.
it's just that's the poetry of it. You know, it's like you can be that good, but if
There's
you
always gonna be one guy, one day that will be better than you. Yeah.
If you're doing things right, it sounds like you're gonna find that better guy and you're
Yeah.
gonna get your ass kicked.
Yeah, if you're putting yourself out there, competing, accepting all the challenges, one day you'll lose, like for sure. And it's not like boxing. Boxing, sometimes there's a lot of fighters that are undefeated, but I think in boxing they build you up. Like your first few fights, they give you easy fights against guys that are not that good, just to build your record up. And then good boxers, they can get their record like pretty good, undefeated.
I find they don't have that in MMA.
No, in MMA, no. In kickboxing, it's
no
not like that.
kickboxing,
You go right, like especially if
Into
you
the
if you
fire.
sign to UFC or to Glory, boom, you're against the best fighters in the world, and they don't give you easy matchups. Like
There's no warm-up fights.
No.
You know, they can give you a matchup that you might do well in, but they're even doing well against that person is fucking, that guy is elite.
yeah,
In boxing, you can fight like a Joe Blow for the first 15 fights.
I
And
never
then
thought of it. Like it's like a marketing thing. It's
Yeah.
like and that might work in the favor or the detriment of the actual fighter, because when you're like, you know, blah blah and you're like, there's confidence in there. So that might push you to keep going if you didn't want to, or it might make you think you're king shit when you're not.
yeah.
You know, like I don't know.
yeah, but then you need to be tested, you know, and I guess in boxing they do get away with it because they fluff you up and maybe the confidence overrides. But in MMA, you get tested day one.
But why don't they do it in MMA? Why do they do it differently?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I think it's just a
It's
brutal
just the
sport.
way. Yeah, it's just the way they do it.
It's just a
They just
brutal
go,
sport.
let's see if you're the next fucking whoever is famous, you know, like, and they just throw you to the wolves. And if you
Pretty
come
much.
out, you're like, you know, you got scars and you're like, I did it. They're like, okay, maybe let's give this guy some money. I guess it's just trial by fire. I don't know. I keep this whole conversation, this whole like tangent that we're on. I keep thinking of this quote from Bruce Lee, and I can't remember it exactly, but he kind of warns people about plateaus. You know, it's like there's this danger. Like a plateau, it's fake. It's comfortable. It's flat. You made it. You climb, and you get to this spot now. It's a lie. Keep fucking climbing. Even if you can't see where the next mountain is, just start walking. Like you know, it's like he was so aware of that, and he was a cocky motherfucker. But I mean, he was like a showman. You know, like I don't know McGregor. Like there's some people out there who it's a half and half. Like they're very confident, but they're being a showman. But there's some people who are just cocky. They're just like they're maybe even a little insecure. So they're like, I'm the best. Fuck you. I'm gonna fuck you up. Fuck. You know, like Mike Tyson talks about it now in like about his glory years, and he's like, I was fucking like he'll say one fight where he was like not talking shit, and he was like he just shut up, and he's like I knew I was king shit. As soon as I got out there, I was gonna win. That's how I thought. And then every time he looks back on the moments when he was fucking talking shit, he's like, I was scared in that moment. I was actually afraid in that moment. I was vulnerable in that moment, and I was biting back because I felt like I was being attacked.
That's cool to hear from
One of the best in the world. Like,
Yeah, no, he's super honest with his past.
yeah.
Like he doesn't hide anything.
I'm amazed by Tyson, man. Like,
Yeah.
he's an incredible person. Like, forget like looking at his past, all the controversial shit that happened. Like he was.
oh my god.
If you go into the psychology behind him, you almost can't blame him for what he did. Like he came from the most broken of homes. I think he was like growing up in like a brothel almost. I think his mom was sleeping for money, and like he was hiding in between the walls as she was having sex with people for cash. Like none of us can imagine growing up in that. And then he meets this coach who gets him the hypnotist, and they're whispering in his ear that he's a savage killer. You're going to kill the world. You're going to be the best ever. But whispering, they were literally hypnotizing him. You're the best ever. And then this coach dies, never teaches him how to turn off that animal inside, and then he's just into the world. You know.
I'd watch that movie.
I'm
but it was
so-
a guy's life.
I'm so impressed that he's come around to this state
Yeah.
where he is right now. This humbled, like, I don't even know what to call him, like a spiritual warrior in a sense, because he's like,
Older, wiser.
yeah, and he's complete.
Psychedelics.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it fucking is, because he talks about the toad.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you fuck with psychedelics? Is that a thing? Is this something you even want to talk about on camera?
I don't mind, but not really. It's not part of my routine or anything. I did a few times mushrooms, but not a crazy dose or anything. And but at one point I was really into it, like doing some research and stuff, and like I'm kind of into it, but kind of not in the same time. Like I find it super interesting and stuff, but I don't do it. Yeah.
Have you had value from your mushroom chips?
The first time I did, it was all weird. Like I don't remember how much we took, but it was less than 5 grams.
Okay.
I hope so. Fuck. The first
Yeah.
time.
No, it might have been 2.5. I don't know. I was with a few friends,
That's perfect.
and but then we took it, and we were supposed to all chill together at my friend's place. But then, like as it was,
Everyone went for a walk, eh?
No, it was starting to kick in, and then we kind of all separated. Like my friend got a phone call from his girlfriend, and instead of just not answering because we're starting to be tripping, the guy answered, and then he went into his like mom's room. He closed the door, and then they started arguing and stuff. And I'm like, man. And then I started like really feeling it.
Right.
I'm like, man. And then I started really overthinking. I'm like, oh, and I got really emotional. I'm like, man, we were here to have a good time with my friends and have fun, but now he's there. He's like, he's having a bad day and whatever. And like, I felt really emotional.
Yeah.
And then I went into his room, my friend's room, and I laid on the bed. And then I started like I was really on the down, like I was super like emotional, and I was thinking about that. And then I started thinking about the world, and the main thing that I remember is I was like, man, like I love humanity, like and I felt like I understood like everyone. I'm like, man, like all those people that are like bad guys or whatever, like it's all because of their life experiences or whatever. I'm like, man, I love everyone. I want to save the world and stuff like that. I was really like that. But also like really down, like I didn't want to move anymore.
Yeah, it's like heavy.
Yeah,
it's like there's a lot of love in that mode, in that mood, in that expression, but it's
overpowering. You can't do much.
you're like, ugh, like it's like almost like anxiety, like that feeling, like something's pulling you down into your stomach.
And so I felt that, and then I think I stayed like on the bed like this, not moving for like 2 hours. But my friend too, at the same time, he was arguing with his girlfriend for 2 hours.
Oof.
And then I had 2 other friends that were in the living room chilling, whatever.
I'm bad tripping just hearing this story.
Yeah, and I was thinking too, I'm like, man, he's like, is he arguing because of whatever? But I'm like, it seemed really intense. So I'm like, does he know that he's tripping and that it's making it worse? Or anyways, after 2 hours, like he came out, and then all my friends were like standing up and like, okay, let's go for a walk, blah blah blah. And I couldn't, like I was still on the bed. I'm like, oh, I don't want to move. And then I got up, and that's when I noticed like my mood changed. And as soon as I started moving and talking to my friends, then everything changed. Like that sad mood, whatever, like it went away. And then I was like energized. I was in a good mood. And then it made me realize that really like, what you feel, it's a lot, your thoughts impact, your well-being. Like,
100%.
If you start thinking like bad thoughts or whatever, and you go into that loop, it'll bring you down. But as soon as you change, your everything...
It's great. Like we were talking about it before, like how our thoughts are feeding into our body. But like you were just saying, like you were lying down, you were like tense, and you were like shutting away. And as soon as you started moving, it changed. Your
that's
mood.
it. It's not. I couldn't. There was no way I was gonna think myself out of it.
Yeah.
Like I was just there. I'm like, no, there's no way. Like blah blah blah. So it wasn't about thinking myself out of it. It was about moving myself out of it, and then the thoughts
will follow, sort of.
Will follow, yeah.
I spoke about this in a previous podcast. It's like sometimes like someone's in a depressed state.
Mhm.
They're gonna, let's say, wear all black or stay in a dark room, and then
Yeah.
everything, they eat shit food, and they're just in this
It's
cave.
a feedback loop, yeah.
But then sometimes it's not about changing your mind. It's just like I said, it was reverse engineering.
Do the thing.
Change the environment,
Do the thing,
and then your
exactly.
mind will follow.
Yeah, it's
So
like it's do the thing and you'll have the power.
Yeah. So just by getting up, like your mind is somewhere else, but you doing the thing, then
Yeah.
your mind's like, oh shit, let's go over here.
Yeah, that's
know?
it.
It's interesting.
Or so many. Yeah, go ahead.
No. It's I think it's because we're sometimes we're a victim to our mental state, which makes our environment our victim,
Mhm.
and then we're a victim to the environment and our mental state. So when you clear out the environment and change scenery, change something, then the mind has like these new patterns of thinking,
Yeah,
and then you're in that positive environment. Maybe you're not positive just yet, but you're gonna get there in a
yeah.
way faster time.
It's like the feng shui of your life.
Hmm.
It's like it means something. It's not like, and a lot of people also, I'm sure I'm repeating myself as well, but like when we're feeling, that's why I asked you, like when we're feeling anxious or depressed or something, we feel like there has to be a really good reason.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, you just need like eat a fucking fruit or like,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
do some push-ups. Like you'll
Or,
you'll feel
go
better.
Train, yeah.
Yeah, fuck. There's so much clear study now. There was some studies, but it was like correlative. But there's like biological research now. It's like 100%. Like you are less likely to be depressed. You have less brain damage. You have less. All this fucking bad shit just goes away if you fucking exercise regularly.
Yeah.
And when we say exercise regularly, what we're saying is move your human body that was made to move.
Yeah.
You stupid fucking monkey.
Just go for a walk.
Literally,
just go for a
just
walk.
movement. We're meant to move.
When I was in my worst days, man, walks saved my fucking life.
Yeah.
Walks, just walks. And that's when I found that forest near my house. I was gonna quit my life. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, not suicide. I was thinking of that too at some points, but I was like, I'm gonna become a monk. Like, I'm
Okay.
gonna get the fuck out of Dodge, like hardcore. And I went for a walk just thinking, am I really gonna do this? And I end up on like an island near my house that's just like a forest. And it's fucking beautiful. And I'm like, this is what I'm looking for. This is like an escape, but I get to still live my life and be part of what I've built instead of just like, you know, like aborting fucking, like ejecting from my existence.
Yeah.
And like, that's just a happy accident. But I feel like it was divine. Like I needed it so much in that moment. And because I needed it, I was like, I felt lost and my feet just take me. And walking is nice, but walking in a forest, there's a lot of science on that too. Just the air is cleaner. Dude, I'm like, there's a highway right next to that place. And
Where do you live?
I
In
live in
Montreal?
Laval.
Okay.
Like if you go the north shore of Laval, like right before the bridge, and you go into Rosemary and everything. I live around there, and if you go near the 15, where there's this like new McDonald's, and then there's like the highway going into Rosemary, there's a little side thing where there's like a driving range and a mini putt and stuff, and you can go up this road that's like not a road. It's called like Lisbon or something, I think, and it's like it's not paved, like it's some weird fucking side road. And there's crazy ass potholes, so be careful if you go there. But like you keep walking, and I don't like. There's this bridge, and a bunch of like kids go there and smoke weed and shit, you know. And there's like a little offshoot with a camp, and there's like a docks because it's the water, and you can get like these pedalos and shit and do whatever you want. And then everyone goes like ice fishing there when it's cold enough.
So
And
it's
if you-
like a Mont-Royal in Laval.
It's so small. It's like
Okay.
it's you can't compare it, you know. But it's there's all these weird little paths in Laval that I've discovered recently just walking. And this one, it's like a dead end because it's an island. But like you go on this path. Apparently, it's private property as well. So like you're not allowed to go there.
Fuck it.
Yeah, no, but dude, everyone goes there. There were some people like what's it called when they're like measuring shit with the weird tripod and stuff.
Those engineers or something. I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I don't. But they were doing that, and I'm like, hey. Is this private property? And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, but there's like 100 people here just like coming and going. And they're like, yeah. Like theoretically, the cops could just come and bust everybody. But like, it's like, I think they were just trying to build something on this island and they couldn't because islands are weird and maybe there was like a problem. So there's like some paths, but nothing is like built. But there's some, like, you know, when they put structure like to make parks, like that is at Montreal also, they put like metal, they put like meshing or something. So it's like rocks and like trees and they plant stuff on purpose. Like, it's like they started making something, but then they stopped. So then people just go there and they'll camp. They'll make fires or something, or they'll I don't know. I hope I'm not like blowing a spot up, you know. But like, I would hate
they're gonna rate it now.
I actually shouldn't have said any of this. I don't want anyone to go there. Like, I don't want it to become busy.
Yeah, that's all good.
Move Bork.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's like the smell in that place is different. The sound of the highway gets muffled by all the trees. There's like fucking turtles and cranes and like all these weird animals.
that's nice, man.
And yeah, it's gorgeous. And you can get like lost. There's like some clear paths. Like you could walk. It's like a 15 minutes of like a circle. But you can go in some fucking weird edges and corners and stuff, and when the water is low, you can like really go further.
See, like that's the good environment for mushroom trip, you know.
Oh, it's perfect.
Like I made the mistake.
For anything.
Yeah, but I made a good mistake of doing a mushroom my first in a motel room. You know?
Okay.
And it was just too confined. Like our friends were arguing. It was just a disaster. But being in an open space like that, I feel like that promotes a really good experience.
Yeah, especially if it's an open place in nature, and if you're like pretty much alone. Like if there's not too many distractions, not people like passing by and stuff.
Yeah.
It must help with the experience.
It's a little scary though, because I mean, like that's safe. There's no like bears or something. You know, like it's just it's like nature, but not. But this fucking dog, bro. No. What was I gonna say? It's very dark, and I feel like I can't see very well in the dark. Like one time I was on shrooms with some friends, and I haven't seen them in a while though. I kind of miss them. Anyway, I'm gonna call them after this. I was like, let's go in the forest. Let's go in the forest. Let's go in the forest. So we're like somewhere in like fucking De Montagne or something. I don't remember. And is that where we were? Yeah.
De Montagne?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, so you went up Montreal, the Montreal forest, no?
Maybe I'm thinking of somewhere else then. I'm really bad with
Wait,
locations.
you mean the Montagne like in the downtown? No?
No, like what's like
The
northeast of Laval on the North Shore.
Oh, okay, no, forget it.
No, you're talking about. No, it's not the same place.
Yeah, no.
Okay, anyway, I was somewhere on shrooms with two other people. It doesn't matter. None of this happened anyway. But we get to this edge of the fort and we start walking, and I'm like happy that I'm there because I'm the one suggesting it, and then I realize how fucking pitch black it is, and I cannot see shit. And I'm on drugs, right? So I'm like, I start thinking like, oh no, what if somebody gets hurt? Like all the bad scenarios. And like we're not equipped, and oh my god, like I'm like, guys, let's turn around. Like I stop and I'm like, let's turn around. And these guys, like fucking God bless them, man. They were like, okay, you know, like we came here for you pretty much, and then you said let's turn around. But I was really like, I just became a panic. It was strange. And then we go back to like, we were like in some kind of cabin, you know, like it was like a nice place, and we had it to ourselves, and we had a great time. We're just like putting on music and just like talking to each other and like talking about how we're tripping while we're tripping. We just got a little closer, you know, like it was cool.
Good company.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the company made it.
Yeah, that's so important. The setting, your mindset going into it, and your environment, the people you're with.
Yeah, you never know. Like it's like a roommate, but fast forwarded. You know, like I guess.
What's the roommate? The
like meeting somebody, and like if you live with them, it's different.
Okay.
Meeting somebody and doing drugs with them is very different also. But like I remember one time I was another shroom thing, but like we took a lot this time. It was like a good dose, and one of my friends, like, I mean, I couldn't believe this because we were like tripping balls, and he drove us up there. So then we're looking for him at some point, and his car's gone. And we all freak the fuck out. Like, all of us together, there's three of us plus him, and his car's gone, he's gone. And we're like, what the fuck? I can't drive right now? How is he driving right now?
Jeez.
In these tiny ass crazy roads? Like, we're in some cabin somewhere. Like, we're chaleting the bitch. Oof. And we all instantly start bad tripping. Like, oh my God, he's dead. He's in a ditch. The cops are going to find him. The cops are going to come here. We're all going to get arrested. We're all going to jail. Like, just worst case scenario, it starts pouring out. And like, I love this guy, but I bust his balls to this day about that moment. Like he was tripping too. So I can't blame him for the way he acted. But like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Where did
bro?
he go though?
He just like went for a drive to clear his head because his girlfriend called him, and he starts talking to her. Yeah, so he made some space. Yeah, man, like same story almost. Yeah. So eventually it ends up like almost same story, man. It's really funny. Like we're all in our separate beds, and there's like no like the walls don't connect with the ceiling sometimes. You know, it's just like a quick thing to make a bedroom because it's like they're renting this place out. So we're all in our beds, like fully clothed, but with our covers on top of us, and we're just like, "Hey man, you there?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hey man, you there?" He's like, "Yeah." You know, so we're just like, "Okay, we're all here. It's all good." Like we're like in panic mode, and we're making sure we're all there, and we're just kind of accepting our fate, and we're all acting like you were acting.
Yeah.
Like this guy fucked the whole vibe, and we were like, "Where did you go?" Like, what are you? How are you driving? Like we were so mad at him, but like I don't know, man. At the same time, it's like you said about like loving everybody and like you're open, like you're anxious, but you're open. Like you said about Mike Tyson also. Like if you know the story, you can't blame somebody. You're just like, I would do it if I was you.
It reminds me when I did ayahuasca recently, I brought a friend who was from special forces and he was in the Israeli army, like intense. And
did you tell me about this?
I think I don't know if I mentioned it to you.
Oh, that sounds fascinating. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, man. But like he has some inner work to do, and so we went to the ceremony, and we do that. Like you can tell he's very guarded, you know. So we all drink the ayahuasca.
Oh, you did tell me.
Yeah, and he disappears. He's gone.
Okay.
The minute we
What's
drink
happening to me?
Yeah, and he's fucking gone the whole night, and then he shows up at the end of the ceremony. You know, I think he showed up each time for the second or third glass, and then disappeared.
He just knew somehow. He's like, I must go back.
So I talked to him like after. I'm like, "Where'd you go?" He's like, "I don't know. I scanned the whole perimeter." He's like, "There's a deer. There's a beautiful plot of land. There's a deer. I saw some deers. I was scanning the neighbors." And then
That's some PTSD shit.
That's it.
That's it. He did a spiral. He did like the hawk, the
That's
eagle
it.
spiral there just to get the lay of the land.
That's it. So the second day, same thing. Takes the ayahuasca, disappears, and then
You take it a few days in a row?
it's a 2-day ceremony.
Okay.
Usually, in some places in Peru, it's like 8 days.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one is just one day, then the next day silence, and then that night you drink it again. So the second day, like we understood how he functioned. So he drank it and he was gone, and we're all like, "Yeah, I guess we don't need to worry about him. He'll be back," you know. So he came back, but like it was a little bit of that was a little on my mind for like the good half of the first night. I'm like, "Fuck, is he okay?" You know, the fuck is he? But there it's a little bit better because we have guides and people that are facilitating, so it's not like you're just tripping with friends and one of your friends disappears. You know. Because that's a panic. I can resonate the feeling because I remember I was like going through my fucking trip and I'm also picturing like, is he okay? You know?
Dude,
and you don't want that in those states because you're so vulnerable. It's already so much to just be that open and then worrying about someone else. Fuck.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you, and it's like bringing it back to the question, like did that kind of teach you something about yourself or like teach you how to handle anxiety or like...
No, man.
Nah, bro. Just sucked.
No, I wish I could say change some stuff, but no, besides the thing that I noticed how your, you know, how your thoughts can impact, you know, your body and vice versa.
Yeah.
I noticed that. Then I did it one more time a few years ago. I don't know if I can say who I got them from, but I did again like a bit of mushrooms, and that was the worst time ever.
Oh,
and thinking now, I think it might have been an anxiety attack that I had. Because, again, at that time, I didn't know yet. Like, it was before last year. And so I got some mushrooms, and I was going to do some with my girlfriend. And we already planned the day. Like, I think I only had to be in the gym in the morning, like that morning. And so I planned. That was a mistake, but I didn't eat breakfast. And I just went to the gym, and then I just went back home, and right away we took the mushrooms on an empty stomach.
Usually it's better, I think. If you're fasting.
That's what I heard, but then I think it made me...
you worked out, fasted, and then who knows?
Yeah, and also, you know, maybe like low blood pressure or stuff like that. Anyways, that's what I thought then. But I took them, and usually it kicks in like an hour, 2 hours after. But I took it, and then I was just... I went in the shower or something, and... in the shower, I started feeling like a bit dizzy and, you know, like lightheaded and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, like that's weird. What's happening? And it kept like coming worse and worse and worse. And it was like 10 minutes in after eating it.
10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, no, this is not normal. Maybe I'm getting poisoned or like it should be an hour later.
That's not a good road where the mind goes.
No, that's it. Yeah. And so, the whole trip, it started 5 minutes after I ate it. and it lasted after those 5 first minutes. It lasted like 2 hours where I was physically uncomfortable. Like
Oh wow.
I was dizzy. At one point, I was thinking about calling an ambulance. Like
The
it was really bad. And then my girlfriend at the same time, like she was fine. Like she's like, oh, it's so fun and stuff. And I'm like, oh, you're not feeling like me. Like I think I got poisoned.
Well, at least that's a confirmation that because she's okay, so you
Yeah.
know that you're not. Well, maybe at the time you didn't rationalize that.
Yeah, I didn't rationalize. I was like, man, something is happening to me, like something physical. Because I wasn't thinking about my mind. I was thinking like I felt those symptoms physically. I'm like, yo, something's happening.
Me too. I think I'm a little hypochondriac. Like your mouth, like your saliva is different. Your breathing's different.
Yeah.
You took something, but you're like, oh no, like
Your body
what did
reacts,
I take?
Though. Your body does have a reaction
Yeah.
to it, you know?
But that's
I
it.
interrupted
So
you. Sorry. Yeah.
no, it's all good. So it was like that, and so for those 2 hours, I felt like shit, and then we were really feeling it. So at one point, I was like, oh, I think it's because I didn't eat, and I have because sometimes I have low blood pressure too, and that can make you feel weird too. So I'm like, oh, maybe that's what it is, and it's because I didn't eat. And then Kat was like, my girlfriend, she's like, oh, I'm gonna go in the kitchen, make you some toast. And then she goes and she puts the toast in, and then we completely forgot about them. Like we didn't go back to it. And and then after, like I'm like, okay, I feel like I really feel sick. Like I have to lay down on the bed. So I went, I lay down in the bed, and then I felt so weird. Like I was touching my body. I'm like, man, am I like, am I all wet? Like I thought I was all wet, like drenched in water.
That happened to me on salvia once.
Yeah,
I
was
like
with
sweating,
mushrooms. Yeah, but I think I was dry. I
Yeah,
think it
me
was
too.
just my sensation. I'm like, man, did I pee myself or whatever? And so I felt horrible like this for 2 hours. And then it stopped. Like boom, right away it stopped, and I didn't feel high anymore. Nothing. And I was 2 hours after eating it, not after.
Yeah.
You know, after usually it takes 2 hours to kick in.
And
but
then it's
me,
like then it might last like 6 hours. Or
yeah,
something,
but me it was 2 hours from the time I took it until it ended. And when it ended, I was like, oh, finally I feel back to normal. But my girlfriend was still feeling it.
Yeah.
So it was
she having a
weird.
normal ride.
Yeah, she was having. She enjoyed it. So,
But I've had that where it lasts long and then it lasts short. Like,
okay.
I've had it all. Like
Not me. That's really something.
even ayahuasca, there was once where
Oh,
I
that's-
drank a lot and I felt it for like 20 minutes and then it was gone. I was
yeah?
like pretty much sober.
I remember my second day, I took the first cup, and I was like, yesterday was rough. I think I'm gonna take it easy today because it was like an ego thing. I was like, take the second cup, and I'm like, hey, chill out, brain. I took one cup. I was fucking more high than I was the day before. For the rest of the people are taking the cups, and I'm just sitting there like, oh no.
Yeah, because they do 3 services throughout the night, so you drink 3 times,
okay.
but it's all optional.
And do you puke and stuff or?
I did a little.
I usually puke.
Well, what's that about? Oh yeah, it's an hour 25. So
Okay.
like we can wrap
Already?
it up in 5 minutes. Yeah,
Flies,
it flies
huh?
by, man.
That's
It
crazy.
fucking flies by. But
Yeah.
we don't have a time limit this time. Like we can keep it around
Yeah.
the same just for the
Yeah.
viewers, you know.
You
Like,
can go. Yeah, it's fine.
but what was I saying? Yeah, like you some people will feel like I think you're gonna feel sick no matter what, unless
Okay.
you're used to it. I don't know, like, but you might
That too, like,
actually
yeah.
puke. What were you saying?
Like since now I know I have a tendency to be hypochondriac. Like I don't want it to impact my trip. Like I wonder if I take it because
for ayahuasca,
I'll be
or-
down. Yeah, let's say for ayahuasca, for sure I'll be down for the experience. But I'm wondering, like, because even if now I can rationalize it and stuff, I'm sure if I take it and I start feeling like, oh, I'm gonna puke, maybe I'm gonna start overthinking,
For sure,
and it's
dude.
gonna impact my trip.
I went through this. For sure, it's going to impact your trip. Like if you read up on it and you realize this is like good for you. I mean, if you're on certain medications and stuff, you have to know what's good and what's bad. But like, it's actually really good for your health. Apparently, like I've been studying up on it.
It's
And
a
it's
cleanse.
Yeah,
You're literally expelling like shit bacteria in the
Okay.
gut. Like there was like some ancient Hindu brew that they would drink that would do a similar effect. And
cool.
Sadhguru was talking about it actually because someone
Oh, I
asked
like
him,
Sadhguru.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone asked him about ayahuasca and he's like, yeah, this is a purification of like the gut flora, like the negative shit. And that they had their own back in like fucking ancient times where you would drink this and you would vomit for like 24 hours,
oh my god.
but it would expel all that shit.
Yeah, but
So-
for sure it's going to affect you. For sure it's going to affect.
I
it's
want
just-
to put, sorry.
I just want to reassure you, like if you want to try it in the future, like it'll come up because it's who you are, but like you're going to be in a good place with people who are really prepared. And like for me personally, it was a psychological thing. I didn't want to puke because it was just like a vulnerable thing. It was like a social thing, but I didn't for a second feel like I did something wrong to my body. Like shrooms makes me doubt myself, makes my stomach turn a little bit. But ayahuasca, weird. As soon as I drank it, I was like, this is like water. Like this is nourishing. It
feels like it's supposed to be there. It's weird, man.
Yeah, like it tastes fucking weird.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but it's like I just didn't get that. I mean, and if you do, you're just you could get it, and you're like, okay, that I took a thing. I feel weird. It's okay.
Yeah.
And you might fucking shit yourself, but not everyone does. A lot of people do puke. And like, there's always that one person that pukes first,
and then everyone goes,
and then everyone's like, yeah, that's it. And like I didn't want to, and I was like, and I didn't even realize I was doing that.
So good,
I was like, I don't want to puke. And then someone pukes, and I'm like, oh, I guess it's okay to puke. It was a weird thing. And then the rapé.
Yes.
The rapé made me puke.
Oh, that's gonna do it.
The fucking
I need that almost every time because then I feel stuck.
dude, it just
What is
makes
that?
you.
Rapé, we got it over there in that box. It's like Amazonian tobacco,
okay.
and it's like pure tobacco from the Amazon. It's like their sacred.
So
tobacco.
it makes you nauseous, no?
I don't know if
Like
nauseous is the word.
when you take a hit of.
But you don't smoke it, so it's administered through the nose. Like they blow it up each nostril.
Yeah, it's like a powder, and there's a lot of other stuff in there. There's like ash of something. There's
there's burnt
oils.
leaves.
There's bark. Yeah, there's
Sometimes cinnamon and stuff.
It's really some kind of mix of I don't even know what. Like I've never really looked it up. And there's different recipes. And what makes you puke, I find, is it has like a bitterness and like a strong taste, if you will, like taste, quote unquote. But it's being shot up your nose, and then like it's in your throat, and you're like, ugh! like you just want to puke. Like it's like something's gagging you. So you're like, ugh! But you're already feeling that way with the ayahuasca. So you're like you shoot it, and you're like, dah! Like, you just fucking launch, man.
It's but I find that with ayahuasca, if you feel like there's something stuck, rapé is going to take it out.
Okay.
And usually from everyone I've seen, after throwing up on an ayahuasca ceremony, you feel incredible.
Then you're good.
It's like, it's not just vomit. It's like negative emotions tied into vomit and negative emotions that were stored inside. Sometimes I would throw up and purge and nothing would come out. It would just be energy.
Okay.
I'd be like, "Ah!" I feel good.
Yeah.
And that happened like 4 or 5 times. And I look at my bucket, there's nothing in there.
Oh, that's weird, man. But I also had this experience, like I was saying, it was a social thing for me. So I felt like less guarded after. I was like, oh yeah, this is okay. Like, and also when you were talking about like in an energetic way, like in some unexplainable kind of personal way, you're purging something psychological.
Things you've held back.
And I remember closing my eyes and I see something. It was this really weird experience because I was seeing a lot of visuals because of the ayahuasca, but I didn't see anything like that exactly. And I suddenly had this like intuitive understanding that I was looking inside my body and I was pushing something out, like some kind of parasite. It was very strange. I don't know what it was exactly in some kind of emotional like translation, but something got the fuck out of me.
Whoa.
And like,
it was a feeling that you had that that thing was there, or
it's hard to like. I was shutting my eyes and I was puking, and I could see something fighting sort of and like moving, like when you see like a microscope image like on TV or
I'm
something.
picturing the Matrix scene where he had that fucking insect in his belly, and they're looking with like that big scope.
A little bit. If
It's like
I
the parasite,
describe it,
you know?
if I were to describe it physically, it looked like a brain cell. It had like a kind of head and like tendrils, and then a kind of tail. And it really, and for some reason, I knew I was looking inside my body, and this thing was trying to come out. I don't know what the fuck happened. I'm just saying what I experienced. And I'm closing my eyes, and I'm like trying to puke, and then this fucking thing, like as the thing is like reaching some kind of border of my vision, I go like, and like this fucking piece of something flies out. I don't know if it was just the rapé or something like stuck in my throat, or I don't know what, or in my stomach. Whoa. But I definitely felt like I crossed some kind of boundary after. I was like, oh.
You exercised the
yeah, fucking maybe, man.
But people purge in all ways. My friend I brought with me, he was like smoking a shit ton of weed, kind of addicted, and he had to pee intensely every time after drinking ayahuasca. Like he went to the washroom and pee, and he said his piss smelled like weed, but like a bad smell. Like this was not good for him. And then when he got back, he stopped smoking for like 3-4 months. Shit. Didn't touch it. And but like that was his purge. He didn't vomit or anything. He was just peeing a lot, and it stunk like weed. So it's weird.
Yeah.
I just want to say this and use this as a platform because there's a big misconception with ayahuasca. And it's like the number one thing you hear when people ask about it, and their fear behind it is like, I don't want to do it because I hear you're going to puke a lot and shit a lot. Like, and that's like the general taste that ayahuasca has for everyone, I guess, because that's the highlight of the experience.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about, oh, he fucking puked, shat
yeah.
himself. But for those who are curious or planning to eventually go and do it, the vomit, the shitting yourself, I haven't seen yet. I don't know if that's out there. Maybe some people
It
have.
seems to be much more rare. Yeah.
Yeah. The vomiting doesn't always happen. I saw a lot of people that don't vomit up until they do it 4 or 5 times later on in their life. And then they've seen the culture. They don't care. But the vomiting is like a 0.1% of the experience. And if that's the only thing that's scaring you from the experience, then don't be worried because it's so much more valuable. That vomit, whatever, if you do vomit, it's so valuable for your body. It feels so good. It's just stuff that really shouldn't be there. And if that's what's holding you back from that experience, don't let it, because it's really, you've been there, I've been there. It's so much more than just a vomiting fucking experience and some guy throwing up, some girl shitting. Like it's genuinely, there's so much work that can be done with it and so much positive that can come out of it.
I think a big thing that you gave me as well is making it feel normal that it was like scary. It's like the first time I'm doing a new thing. You were telling me, it's like the 5th or whatever time you're doing it or 10th time you're doing it. And you're like, I still feel that way. There's going to be, your ego's going to come in and be like, oh, I don't want to change. Yeah. I don't want to have to act differently so that I can live a better life. So I'm going to make excuses for why I don't want to go do this thing. And because it doesn't feel good. It's challenging. But you feel amazing after. It's like the gym. It's like meditation. It's like everything. Some
of my clients, I tell them, and you probably see it the same, is like the hardest part of the training is getting to the gym.
Yeah.
They wake up, they want to cancel, whatever, then they show up, oh, fuck. And then they tell you after, I almost canceled today, but I showed up and I'm so happy I did. Yeah. It's...
even the days I don't feel like working out or whatever, I'm tired. Then you go to the gym, you do your warm-up. And once you're warm, you're good to go.
That's it.
You're like, oh yeah.
So I think that ego sneaks in and grabs onto the vomit of like the idea of vomiting, be like, oh, I don't want to throw up, but it's nothing to do with throwing up. There's like this hidden thing that you're trying to avoid. And you're using the thing about vomiting as an excuse not to do it.
Fucking maybe.
The ego's insidious. It'll hide. It's the same thing if you skip the gym and you're like, oh, I'm going to watch this movie. I'll go to the gym tomorrow. And then you cancel the gym. And then tomorrow comes and then you're like, oh, I'm going to go hang out with my friend, whatever. And then I'll do the gym the next day. It's that same mechanism. It just keeps hiding and hiding and hiding. And it's showing up in random spots.
That being said, like, what's the... Maybe you don't have like a big plan or something, but like what's your projection of your future? Like you're a professional fighter and you're good at it. So like what's the
I'm still amateur, high level amateur, let's say.
Okay. Fair enough.
No, I don't know. I guess I'll see how it goes. For sure, my dream and my passion is fighting. So I'd like to go as far as I can in fighting. Like eventually I'd like to turn pro maybe this year. That's the thing that's hard too. It's here. It's not like MMA. Well, even now MMA with TKO, like
there's a lot of politics. It's not
and like last year they barely had any shows. And anyways, even MMA it's hard, but kickboxing it's even harder to get to have the contacts and to get on a pro organization around here. Like there's nothing.
In the States,
it's just smaller.
Yeah, there might be some in the States. It's really popular in Europe, but it's hard to get the contact. So I gotta find that entry door to get there. But for sure, I'd love to go as far as I can in fighting. But then I really love teaching too. Like it's one of my passions. So
nice.
I love teaching. Martial arts. I don't know. It's just now I'm on that journey. We'll see how it goes, and like I don't have. I'm not fixated on the goal. It's mostly the journey. So now I'm just enjoying where I'm at now.
Nice.
I'm working hard on getting better and whatever, going as far as I can. But we'll see where it leads me. Like it might be somewhere totally different. I don't really mind.
Nice.
We'll see.
I think the best fighters have that logic. It's you have this adaptability sort of that. I guess it's like you have it in fighting. You have it in the fight in the ring itself, and then you have it in training, and then you have it in life.
Yeah.
So you're just like, this is my goal because I need a direction, but let's see what happens. You know, like, I mean, you
Yeah.
must meet people like you all the time. Like, you get, like, everyone who fights is super chill. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, for the
the
most
mo-
part.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's some out there that are.
There's always some hotheads. There's always that archetype, the
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
guy in the kung
No,
fu
but for
movie.
sure, for the most part, fighters are a really good person.
I would say differentiate. I would say martial artists because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
the mentality that like
Hmm.
you meet fighters and then you meet like martial artists who have just adopted not just the fight but the philosophy behind it.
Yeah.
And that philosophy is humble, respectful, and like those are the people. It's unfortunate that in the UFC, for example, or the MMA community, that they're promoting the other side of the coin, the promotional side of it.
Yeah.
When starting, it was more about being humble. Like it's still there, but it's
Mhm.
they're trying to create more wow factors.
I guess
Yeah.
it sells tickets. Yeah.
Yeah, but the core is that it's the better you get, the more humble you become. Like that's when a true martial artist. you know?
Remember that quote from Schwarzenegger when he says that the iron doesn't lie or something like that? You know,
Hmm.
like 20 pounds is always 20 pounds or whatever the fuck he said.
Hmm.
Like, McGregor's a fucking loudmouth, let's say. You know, don't at me, bro. But he puts in the work.
Yeah,
There's so much humility in that, even that guy.
Yeah,
There has to
100%.
be. Right? Am I
Yeah.
wrong? I
100
don't
to get where he was. you
Yeah.
know? You know, I think the
And to
loss
stay
against Khabib, like we spoke about before, I think that was necessary. That can go in both directions. We have yet to see how he's truly going to perform. I think it was amazing with Cowboy, but I'm curious about his next few fights to see what changes made. You know.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
On that note, I know you have to go to the gym at some point.
Yeah, I work at the gym tonight.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I think we're on good time though.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
thought about our time. I didn't even think
Yeah.
about what
No,
you
no.
have to do later. Shit,
Should
man.
be good. I gotta be there at 5.
Oh, it's 3:30.
Oh, really?
All good.
3:33.
Damn.
Damn, boy. All right, man. Fucking, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, man.
Thanks
Thanks
for
for
coming
having
on.
me.
That's
It was
fucking
cool.
awesome, brother.
My first podcast.
And our first guest in this crazy, weird
Yeah, that's true.
new setup.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Seriously.
we didn't test the lights with him.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, we totally forgot that, but it would have been this light.
Oh no, I like the other one better.
Just straight no.
We could go through colors, but
Yeah,
I
we
thought
got-
purple was the
That's
easy.
fine too.
No, green was nice too.
We got options, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is bonus feature
yeah,
for the fucking.
yeah. If you guys watching this, if I don't edit this out, if you have a preference of light,
Yeah, orange.
what was the one we used? It was pink.
You
Green.
can change it up every show.
They have a. That's
Yeah.
true.
Go
too.
with the aura of the person. Like,
That's true too. Yeah,
well, yeah.
yeah. All right,
Stay curious.
all right. Peace.
Peace out.